In this video I'm going to show you how to find the equation of the tangent to an ellipse. To do that we need the gradient of the tangent, we need the point that the tangent goes through, and then we're going to use the equation of a straight line, y minus y1 equals mx minus x1. The gradient of the tangent can be defined in terms of a, b, x and y, and then we can find the gradient at any point provided we have that information. Now this is going to require me to do some implicit differentiation, which isn't directly required for level 3, but it is actually very useful for you to see it anyway. However, it's the end result that you can use. So the first thing I'm going to do is multiply both sides by a squared and b squared to get rid of the denominators. So we end up with b squared x squared plus a squared y squared equals a squared b squared. It's important for us to remember that a, b and a squared and b squared are all constants. So now I'm going to differentiate. Now what happens here, when I differentiate the b squared x squared term, because b squared is a constant, we just differentiate the x and the 2 comes to the front. The same thing happens on the next term where we end up with 2a squared y, but because y is not a function of x, or is not an x, then what we do is we multiply by dy by dx. And finally the right hand side, a squared b squared, because that's a constant, becomes 0. I'm now going to divide both sides by 2. Then we're going to take the b squared x squared to the other side. We're now going to divide both sides by a squared y. So now we have a equation which gives us the gradient of the tangent at any point on the ellipse. Okay, so now for an example of how to find the equation of a tangent. So here we've got the equation of our ellipse, and from that we know what a squared and b squared are. So it follows that a equals 10, the square root of 100, and b equals 8, the square root of 64. The next thing we want to do is to find the gradient. So we've got our equation of the gradient, and we can now substitute in the values for a, b, x and y. X and y we get from the point 2 and 4 root 3. And I've just put them all in there, and then we can do some cancelling down. Now if you remember your work on complex numbers, this shouldn't be too bad. So we've got a fair bit of cancelling down to do, and then I multiply top and bottom by the square root of 3, and that simplifies down to 8 root 3 over 75. So now that I've got my point at 2, 4 root 3, and I've got my gradient of minus 8 root 3 over 75, I've just got to put those values into the equation, y minus y1 equals mx minus x1, and we end up with this. Now it can be simplified, but we're only after the equation, so we can leave it as it is. In the description below you can find a link to a worksheet that has questions that you can try on your own. I hope you found this video helpful. Stay in field with Winfield.